Hey there, I'm Sam. I'm a graphic designer who loves to solve problems for other graphic designers. I found a problem that I think a lot of us designers have experienced at some point, so I'm going to show you how to fix it. The situation is if you're a designer and you're hired for a branding project, sometimes the client will come to you and give you a color that they must have in their branding. Sometimes this is a color that they're historically known for. Sometimes it's a color that the founder just really likes, but for better or worse, it will happen where a client has a color that they really want in their branding project. And so it's your job as a designer to either talk them out of it and show them why it shouldn't be in there, or work with that color and give them some options that fit the vibe of the brand direction that you're going in. This just happened to me last week, so I'm going to show you how I solved this and how you can incorporate a specific color into any color palette. Now, I'm going to use this peachy salmon color just as an example, but you could do this with literally any color out there. But I'm using this one. And I'm going to use the color palette builder. And the first thing I'm going to do is use the eyedropper tool to add this salmon color to the builder. And then I'm just going to show you the different ways that you can build around this color palette. So the first thing that you could do is just add straight up black and white. That's the easiest low hanging fruit option that you could do. This is a 3-color palette, which is where there is a light neutral, a dark neutral, and then some sort of brighter accent color. So if we do this and we click show compliant pairings, we have these high contrast options. It's simple, but it lets that peachy salmon color really shine and be the hero, the main part of the show. It does give you high contrast options, but I do feel like this is a little bit harsh and it's a little too simple for my taste. So here's what I would do. If this was my client and I wanted the most simple color palette possible, what I would do is respect the vibe of this peachy salmon color. So if we look at it, it's right off the orangish side of red. So I would want to go for a warm light neutral and a warm dark neutral. So instead of using black, what I would do is make a really juicy brown, a nice bright juicy brown. And then instead of using pure white, I would go with a soft beige. Beige is usually a softer version of an orange, a grayish soft version of an orange. So let's see what we get when we combine these 3 colors. Now if I click show compliant pairings, I have these high contrast options. They're still high contrast, they're still really easy to read, but don't they feel more respectful of the original peach color? This is just a really easy thing to do. Now, if this was my client, here's what I would actually do. I would first add the peach color to the color palette builder. It's step 1. And then I would have them, I would scroll through the different design styles of the color palette builder, and I would just see what vibes they react well to. Now this isn't everything. I am taking into account their target clients, their values, the brand direction we're going in, but I really just like to see what kind of design vibes the marketing team or the founder is relating to. So I will scroll through these and see if they just identify with anything. If they really like this vaporwave style, then I might pull up this Pinterest board and show them some of the pins in here and see okay, what do you like? What don't you like? And I'm really just trying to get them to talk as much as possible. But I love scrolling through these design styles because in this modern romantic style, there's this color palette formula and there are definitely shades of peach in here. So I could use this peach in a color palette that had a modern romantic style. I could use it in a palette that had a vaporwave style. Cottagecore, it could work great for cottagecore. I'll just show you now. If I wanted to make a cottagecore vibe color palette, which I think is such a fun, beautiful style, I could go for, I'm adding some light neutrals. Let's add some medium neutrals too. I'm staying on the warmer side to match the vibe of that peach. And then this peach I would consider a pastel or floral, but then I would also maybe add in a nice soft purple. That would be cute. And then a dark neutral, go with a dark gray. And then if we were to do that and click show compliant pairings, here are all the high contrast pairs. Still has that peach color, looks like a gorgeous palette, and it matches this soft cottagecore style. But if I refresh and go past cottagecore, let's see, retro 70s, it could work. It could work. I don't really think that peach matches psychedelic. Art Deco, That could work, yeah. You wanna make an Art Deco palette? It's not the strongest Art Deco palette. Art Deco tends to skew a little cooler. Bright and warm. Totally fits bright and warm. It's like a natural fit for bright and warm. So if I were to do this, I would round out the palette by adding in a couple beige tones. I would add in the peach. I would consider a light color, super similar to this color. But I maybe would add in like another orangish color. Then maybe, let's see, maybe like a yellow. Yeah, nice. And then for bright colors, I could go for like a, what would we call this? Like a watermelon pink. And then maybe like a nice like sienna color. And then for dark colors, a nice brown. And if I do this, this is like the expanded version of that first palette that I made, or the second palette technically. Here's what that color palette would look like. Bright, warm, sunny, gorgeous, gorgeous. So hopefully you're getting the idea. You can really take a single color and have it match any sort of design style. So like we could make a cosmic and ethereal vibe that matches this style, but that includes this color. Your palette can be as small as 3 colors, meaning like the color that they come to you with, and then a light neutral and a dark neutral, or it could be more expanded, like a color palette like this, where you have lots of high contrast options. The important thing to note is that you use the color in a way that respects the vibe of the palette. So like, let me show you what not to do. So if we were, let's see, let's find a style that doesn't really work for this. That could work for cool and beachy. Let's see, woodsy and rustic. It's not really a woodsy and rustic color. So if we were building a woodsy and rustic color palette and we've got like all these colors in here, and this is what our palette is looking like, what we don't want to do is just randomly add a color because like look at how much that's going to stick out in this color palette. It just looks like it doesn't belong because it doesn't match the vibe of the rest of the palette. There are no peach tones really in this. So I hope that that's helpful, like of what to do and what not to do. Essentially, if a client comes to you and they have a particular color that they want to use in their palette, have some fun with it. Make sure to lean into what the color is and not necessarily what you want the color to be. So like this peach is not hot pink. It's a peach color. So we want to go with more soft, warm tones. I hope that you had fun doing this. Let me know if you have any questions or if there are any other topics that you want me to cover. And I hope that you enjoy using the color palette tools that we've created. Our bestseller is the Color Palette Builder. That's the one I've been using with all these fun design styles. And it just lets you make color palettes in less than 60 seconds, even if you're using a color that's not in the builder. So like I can add my peach here and build out a really gorgeous brand color palette in less than a minute. Here are the colors that I've added. Now if I click show compliant pairs, I have all these high contrast options. That took seconds, and that's why I create the tools that I do. Thank you for watching. Follow along for more.